Alright guys, I know this is pretty late as the fights are tomorrow, but UFC 124 predictions. I gotta get this out of the way. I gotta finish watching Burn Notice. I gotta catch up on my DVR, or the rest of my DVR stuff. I gotta watch K1 World Grand Prix Finals. Alright, here we go. Sean Pearson against Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle, he's the better wrestler. He's going to gain top control, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to trust that Matt Riddle has figured out how to finish guys within the time constraints. So we're going to go Matt Riddle, second round TKO. Aforementioned, Jesse Bongfeld taking on Rafael Natal. A guy that a lot of people talked on here, kind of hyped up as, you know, a Gracie guy, good grappling, power in his hands and stuff like that. When I watch his fights, he really didn't come off as that impressive to me. I picked Richard Adenito to beat him, and that should tell you something, because Adenito's not an amazing fighter. And Jesse Bongfeld is a very good grappler. His fight with also fighting on this card. Weird, huh? TJ Grant was a very, very good grappling contest. Pretty much all straight grappling. Watch that fight. Bongfeld ended up submitting TJ Grant in the third round. The problem I see here is not so much that Natal is such a better fighter than Bongfeld. It's that Bongfeld's better at 170. He's fighting at 185 here, and he hasn't fought in over a year. First fight in the UFC. All that combined, I'm going to pick Natal by third round submission. I think it'll be pretty good while it lasts, and then, you know, you'll get a grappling contest. Natal's got power, and Bongfeld has been TKO'd before. But I'm going to go late submission, Rafael Natal. John Makdessi against Pat Audenwood. Makdessi just had a fight with Bendy Casimir, who's also a pretty decent wrestler and grappler, and he avoided it. So, I don't know. This is kind of a pick 'em fight, and you never know coming off of you know, their first fight in the UFC what's going to happen. So, flip a coin, you'll probably get it. Who am I going with? I'm going to go with Pat Audenwood. I'm going to go decision, although I wouldn't be surprised if Makdessi could end up, you know, TKOing him or keeping the fight on the feet and outpointing him, which I could also see happening. Joe Stevenson against Mac Danzig. I'm not doing this in any particular order, by the way. I'm just going straight off of MMA Playground. Joe Stevenson against Mac Danzig. Yeah. Two Ultimate Fighter winners who are never going to amount to anything near a title shot ever again. Stevenson had his shot. He's never going to get there. He is training with Greg Jackson, which helps him a lot. What's going to happen? Joe Daddy Stevenson's going to get the better of the grappling. He could probably also get the better of the boxing en route to a unanimous decision. Dan Miller against Joe Dorkson. Dan Miller going to submit him or win a decision. I'm not even going to talk about that one. So there you go. Ricardo Almeida against TJ Grant. Yes, good fight. I like this fight a lot. I'm going to go with TJ Grant in this one. I think Almeida may have the crisper boxing, which sounds weird, but TJ Grant has power in his hands. We saw that against Kevin Burns. And like I said, he's a better wrestler of the two. And so I see him maybe stuffing the takedowns. Going to see a lot of clinch work in this one, I think. And I'm going to pick TJ Grant, split decision. I think it's going to be a real close fight. There's going to be a lot of, unfortunately, against the cage. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how exciting you consider, you know, cage grappling to be. And we're going to see that, and that's my pick. TJ Grant, split decision. Mark Bocek against Dustin Hazlett. Very good fight. I like it. Hazlett looked real drawn out at the weigh-ins. First time making one. Has he fought at 155 before? I think he's fought at 155 before. I think Bocek, very good boxer. Not very good. I'm going to take that back. Let me start over. Rewind. Bocek, decent boxer. Better wrestler than Hazlett, and probably just about as good at jiu-jitsu. Hazlett's a little more flashy with his jiu-jitsu. Bocek pretty strict in, staying to the fundamentals. I'm going to pick Mark Bocek in this one. I think Hazlett, the cut is going to be... I don't know how the cut's going to affect him that much. Like I said, he looked very drawn out at the weigh-ins. I think Bocek is the better wrestler of the two, and he's a good enough grappler to stay out of flashy submissions by Dustin Hazlett. I think Bocek's going to be on top most of this, and maybe use his boxing to, stay out of, keep the range, use his jab pretty well, and, score just basic combinations, 1-2s, maybe clinch him up against the cage, take him down from there. I'm going to pick Mark Bocek by unanimous decision. There you go. Jim Miller against Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. Jim Miller's better with his hands. Oliveira's better Muay Thai, better kicks, more flashy for sure. I think Miller is too experienced for this point in Oliveira's career. He's good. I think he has a lot of upside. I'm not ready to jump on that Oliveira train. He submitted Darren Elkins. Terrible strategy by Elkins. Took him down and just immediately got subbed. He's got a win over Ultimate Fighter winner Efren Escudero, but Escudero has not been motivated to fight in a long time. Missed weight for that fight and gave up his back, and just terrible strategy in that one. Miller, hard worker, good, very good wrestler, very good grappler, decent boxing, and take Miller. I think he'll be able to score, points on the feet using his boxing well, to set up takedowns, stay out of submissions, work ground and pound. And I'm going to take Jim Miller, unanimous decision. So there you go. At one point, you got your prospects coming up, and at one point, they're going to hit a wall. It happens to everybody. Even some considered the best in the sport. They hit that wall. Jim Miller is that wall. Sean McCorkle, Stefan Struve. Worst co-main event in history. This fight is going to get finished. I can almost guarantee that, which means it's probably going to decision. McCorkle, you talk about everybody, his trash talking and stuff like that. Dude's hilarious. Everything he says is... I don't find him all that amusing. It's not because I find him childish and just completely, not comical at all in any sense of the word. It's just... I like comedy. I like all sorts of comedies. Sarcastic comedy, dark comedy, stupid, raunchy comedy. McCorkle's not funny. I don't find him funny. He's not funny. His trash talking is terrible. Stefan Struve can't control distance at all for 6'11". He fights like he's 4'9". Gets in stupid battles all the time. Takes way too much unnecessary punishment, and it could be a detriment to him. That being said, Pat Barry didn't come out right and say it, but he basically, we were to presume that Sean McCorkle is a terrible grappler. This is Pat Barry saying Sean McCorkle's a terrible grappler. Technically, technique-wise, awful. He just uses brute strength to make up for it. And so there you go. Stefan Struve, way better grappler than Sean McCorkle. Striking-wise, probably on a whole different level. If you can control distance, learn how to use a jab, or, you train in, you're a Dutch kickboxer, right? End quote. And you don't know how to use a teep at all. Okay? You don't use a teep. You need to use leg kicks. Okay? Control the distance. Use your jab. If McCorkle gets inside on you and, gets you to the floor, control him. Use your guard. You should have a decent guard. So there you go. I'm going to pick Stefan Struve, I think McCorkle's not anywhere near UFC caliber. He's a big guy who's a fairly good athlete. So there you go. Stefan Struve, I don't know how he's going to finish it, if he's going to end it in a TKO or submission. But one of those two, end of the first, early second round, Stefan Struve win. Also, weighs a lot more. Putting on weight, says he wants to go up to 280. Cut down. Good decision. John Howard, Thiago Pitbull Alves. Great fight. Great fight. Alves looked pretty good at the weigh-ins. Made weight. So, you did your job. Congratulations. Alves is the better technical striker everywhere. Howard's got power in his hands, power in his left hand, power in his right hand. And people think he's this giant KO artist and he's going to KO everybody. He's got 4 TKOs in his career in over 20 fights. So, I don't know. Just because he finished 2 in a row. Before that, he went to split decision with Chris Wilson, split decision with Tamden McQuarrie, losing the fight to Dennis Hallman before he landed a miracle KO. And he was getting out-grappled by Daniel Roberts before he landed that huge shot in the ground. He has been TKO'd before. He has been submitted before. Alves is not going to submit him, but I think Alves is going to use leg kicks, use better boxing, better footwork, better clinch work, possibly land a knee and finish it, possibly work his legs and end up finishing it, but I think Thiago's going to finish it in the late second, early third round. That's what I'm going to pick. Thiago Alves, TKO. Like I said, late second, early third round. And to the main event of the evening, George Rush St. Pierre against Josh Koscheck. Josh Koscheck, I think, is the most credible fight that GSP has had in a long time. Josh Koscheck is a very, very good wrestler who does have power in his hands and has been improving. So I think he's the most credible threat to GSP thus far in the UFC. Without overthinking it all that much and just looking at it, GSP is going to win a decision, right? Koscheck, what game plan is he going to have? Is he going to try and stuff the takedowns and use the striking? Is he going to try and take GSP down? Did it really go into his mind that, when they fought 3 years ago, he was training striking all the time, so he didn't even think GSP was going to try and out-wrestle him, and that's why he got out-wrestled by him? I mean, he did win a round. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that fight was 29-28, and Josh Koscheck did take GSP down. So, can he land a shot and hurt GSP, finish him with some ground and pound? I want to see GSP get taken down. I want to see him work his guard game. And I want to see him, test his striking, because on the feet, GSP is the better striker. And that's why he is such a great wrestler in MMA. If these guys fought in a straight wrestling match, Koscheck would work him over. Work him over if there's no strikes. He's so good because he's seamless transition between striking and grappling. That's why he's such a functional wrestler in MMA. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think, it's going to be a slow feeling out process, for sure, in the first round. So I think, it's going to be close in the first. Second round, GSP going to use his striking, flashy striking, to get in on Koscheck and use it, try and take him down. I think GSP has the better cardio, and I think he's going to clinch him a lot. I think he's going to take him down. I think Koscheck will get a takedown of his own, maybe a couple takedowns. But GSP is going to avoid his right hand the whole time. That's what he's going to do, and take him down when he sees the opportunity, outstrike him when he sees the opportunity. Eventually in the fourth round, take Koscheck down, and he will pass his guard, punch him a couple times. Koscheck turns over, rear naked choke. Yes, GSP finishes his fight by rear naked choke in the fourth round. That's my pick. There you go. Predictions. UFC 124 tomorrow. Enjoy the fights, everybody. Stay metal. Later.